Good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of Unscripted and Unchained RPG Review. I am Bloodworth, and as you can see by the graphics, today I'm going to do something completely out of my wheelbox. I am going to I'm going to paint my first miniature in over 40 plus years, and I wanted to start off this video series with an episode one where I'm just going to show you some of the equipment that I picked up, and then I am going to prep everything on the table here, and then do the base coat of my skeleton archer here, which I'll show you in greater detail once I get into that. So without further ado, let's just talk about some of the equipment that I ended up picking up, for this process. So the equipment. So I began, and I bought this a long time ago, but I just didn't get around to actually using it yet. Is the Reaper's Miniatures Learn to Paint Kit Core Skills. So this is going to cover doing base coats, washings, and dry brushing. And it comes with the three figures that you see here. So it does come with three minis and 11 paints. All of the paints are what you would necessarily need to recreate these minis as you see them on the cover here, along with two paint brushes. So it came with these two paintbrushes, and one is a flat, and it is a number two flat, and then the other is a round, and it is a zero round. So it did come with two paintbrushes. So I that was the first thing that I purchased, and it literally sat on my chase behind me for God knows how long. So then, as I was approaching Christmas time, I was all right. Listen, I'm going to actually do this thing. I'm going to actually paint a figure. So I wanted to get some. I wanted to get some more paintbrushes, and so I got additional paintbrushes and this case here for Christmas. I asked for it for Christmas, so I got those as well. So it's a complete set of paintbrushes and enough room for me to put the two that came with the kit inside there, and so there you have it, a nice little carry case. I also picked up. And this is put out by Citadel Miniatures, so Citadel color, and it's a base, it's a holder, as you can see here, and it's just so you can paint and manipulate. I like the fact that it has a divot in the bottom to really firmly place your thumb and do that as well. So I do have that. I did also pick up a fairly large magnifying glass. I didn't actually bring that over, but because I'm because I'm partially blind as a bat, um, and it might be hard to see that detail, I did pick this up. Now, this was like the cheapest model that I could find, and it's pretty cheesy. I mean, I'll see if I need it. If I need it, then it's there. The other thing that I picked up, and I've never used one of these before, so this is an acrylic paint wet palette. And so I picked this up just recently, and that's what I'm going to actually start prepping. And so I think that there's everything that I actually needed. Now, the one thing that the paint kit did not have, which I thought was kind of bizarre, is because in prepping your paints and getting ready for the washing and the dry brushing aspects of it, you have to add water to it, and the kit did not come with an empty bottle to fill up with water. So I repurposed a test kit, and so I have my little water droplet there. So I think that's pretty much everything that I picked up. So everything from the paint kit to the extra brushes and all of these other things. about $80 or so, combined, everything combined up about $80. So not terribly expensive to jump in, especially if you end up enjoying doing this kind of thing if you've never done it before. Like I said, it's been at least 40 years since I painted anything, and I painted as a young teenager, and wasn't that concerned about what it looked like. I did the black dragon that was I believe was the grenadier black dragon, and and a lizard man, also probably grenadier, lizard man, way back when I first started playing. That would have been around like 79 or something like that. So it's been since like 1979 or 1980 or 81 since I've painted the last time. So here we go. I'm going to pause this real quick and prepare my prepare this here. So I have everything set up here, and I will, I will show you as I go through this process and do this. So I'm just going to pour the water. I'm going to pause this for a moment. Okay, so I put some water into the base of this tray, and they say to not fully submerge the foam the foam portion of the palette, and then to put the paper on top and to smooth out all of the air bubbles, which I didn't manage to do that quite so much, but I do have a good working section here where I can where I can actually do that. So now I'm going to go to the rule book here, or the instruction manual, I should say, and it told me that the base color for the skeleton is going to be. I am going to start off with desert sand. So it says to shake this up pretty well, which I'm going to do, and you start off with a darker base color, um, and you cover all of the sections of the bones on it, along with its shoulder skull, its obviously its arms and its legs. It does have, and I'll see if I can get you in here. So it does have the quiver on the back, which I want to avoid, plus that brown, that strap that's supposed to be brown. So I'm going to try to avoid covering that. Um, I mean, those are eventually going to get their own base coat and such. So I'm just going to hit all of these bone areas. I'm not sure if I can get this to focus in. There we go. So you can see there's quite a bit of detail in there, and I'm going to work on that, and that's going to be the first thing I do. So I'm going to go to preparing the paint, and I shook the bottles up pretty well. And this is going to use for the skeleton base coat. I am going to use the number 2 flat brush and desert sand paint, and I am going to drop in, I believe they say 4 drops. Let's see. Let's see. Da, 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 da. I believe it's 3 or 4 droplets of paint. Let's see. Da, da, da. It doesn't actually say how many drops for the base, but I'm going to do 3 drops of base. So make sure I shake it up once again, and I'm going to drop this down here, and let's just do. And that is coming out very slow. 1. Okay. So let's see. And it says to start off with my number two brush. I'll take the cap off of that. And you can see it's a fairly flat brush, or I should show you there, fairly flat brush. I have my little droplet of paint in there. I will slide this over so that you can see what I'm doing here. And they say you cover about half of the brush on both sides. I did a little bit more than half. And I stretch that out a little bit. And I'm going to come in here now and just start getting the main parts of him. And come around. Now this is just the base. I want to make sure I don't get those arrow heads too much. I probably did not need that much. And he is slipping out of this holder. All right, let's rework this holder. Let me do this instead. Okay. I just did that instead. Oriented the holder a little bit differently. Okay. I don't have to be as precise here because you see there is that one band there for his strap that I want to miss. His hand partially covers it, so I could be a little bit less concerned about it. That's the strap. Again, part of it. It's part of his shoulder blade, but I left the strap alone. Get in there and get his skull, and then he has his rib cage over here. Okay, got it. Of course, you're going to get a tiny bit here and there on that strap, but that's okay. This is base coat anyway. And now get in here to his other parts. And I'm going to load this up a little bit more. Getting his legs now. What? There's that little, his heel. Load this up again. Start getting the other leg. Like I said, I'm trying to avoid getting parts that aren't supposed to be that sand bone color. Of course, you can go a little bit over. It's not exact. Get his tailbone. He actually has a tailbone. That's awesome. How much detail they actually put into him. Let's try to get that side of his foot. And come down here. He's got a little section between the bow and his leg. I'll get underneath the bow on his foot over here. And let's see. Of course, got a little bit of that strap. It's kind of hard not to. And so, as you can start to see here, I mean, I'm just working around that one section of gray that you see there. That's the strap that goes out in the front, and it's trying to isolate it as much as I can. Get the top of that skull there. I did a better job in the back of isolating the quiver. Even behind it near the tail bone and his hip. And there we go. So there we go. I mean, that's pretty much the base color. Well, let me get his foot a little bit more here. I'm not quite sure I got his toes. And again, I'm going to, when I put the green down for the grass, it'll cover any of that part. I gotta go in there. Nope, I just hit the tip of the bow. But there we go. All right, so that's the base coat, and I'm going to be curious to see how the next part goes, because all I have to do is water this down, I believe, for the brush. Let me double check that. And I'm going to wait for this to so let's see. So we have the core. So we have the base coat. Then the next is the wash. A wash of darker color over the base coat brings out the fine sculpture details. To create a wash, mix 3 to 5 drops of water into a drop of paint. The paint will be very thin. So for the skeleton, I'm going to use Stone Mountain, 1 drop of Stone Mountain with 4 drops of water to create the wash. Remember to apply the wash into deep crevices and undersides of surfaces like the rib cage, hip bones, and jaw. All right, so that's where I'm going to get into doing the wash. So the wash is going to go into the deeper spots, um, where I want that additional detail to actually pop out. So not in any of the places that I've already done it. And since I'm using a darker color, but still coming back to this, and I will come back to this sand for the highlight section, so I'm not too worried about this drying up on me. Plus it is on a wet pad, so it is going to keep that a lot longer than if I didn't use the wet pad. So I'm gonna leave it here because that was our step one. And so there you have it. This is my first my first my first painting in over 40 years. Actually, I will go back to this here so you can see. Um, and so there's the base coat on him. And once I get that next stage done, and I will keep on looking. I got like a little speck on the quiver there, but again, that will be covered with a brown. That will certainly cover that up. And then the fletching, I believe, is like a bluish color, or possibly a black. That strap that I'm going to want to hit there, and then hit on the side, and then hit over here. I actually covered the strap on this side that I can see. So easy enough to clear up that strap. You can see the strap here shouldn't have been hit, but it's kind of hard not to, and it's not too bad to have hit that. I see. I did not get it there, and you can see that gray still stands out there. So did a better job on the front as far as that's concerned. But I'm pretty glad I got the foot pretty much detailed out there, and maybe a tiny bit on this ankle over here. Again, and these are pretty small as well. I mean, these are, I'm not quite sure the scale of this. Somebody else will probably go, this is probably 120, what is it, 128 millimeter? I'm not quite sure what scale these are in. I seem to remember figures being a little bit, and the other ones are larger than the skeleton. The skeleton is much smaller than the others. But there we have it, base coat. Hope you enjoyed, and please feel free. Questions, comments, any tips you can give me, any details at all to help me out with this. And again, appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed. And, just keep on following along. I'm going to do a series until I'm completely done with my skeleton here. And hopefully it looks pretty cool. So have a great afternoon. Take care.